the video is muted, or whatever you call it.
Another stranger.
Oh, hold on. Let me turn off this.
I'm gonna be in your neck of the woods next week.
Cool.
Well, a little north of you.
Good. Oh no, my fast ended 6:08, so
Wow.
either the food
Welcome
is
back. Miguel, welcome back. Guillermo, it's good to see you. Wait.
Give me a good page, please.
Yes. And
1280.
What?
Kristen, good luck with Suzanne, your cousin. Okay.
Oh, in the back.
Well, it's not in the front.
Welcome to Garden of the Spirit, the class studying apples from the orchard for the second time beginning after Race of 2014. This class meets in Long Meadow, Massachusetts, the center of the universe, and is held in memory of Malka Ruth, Moshe, Margaret Vogel, blessed memory. Apples from the Orchard contain selections of pieces of Kabbalah from the Arizal Arabias Gloria. Based on the weekly core portion, superbly explained and translated by Moshe Wisniewski.
You're still choppy like you were last week. I don't know why. I'm just letting you know. You're choppy. I don't know.
I wonder if the plug. Try to plug to my router, see if that works better.
Oh, directly? Oh, that sounds good.
I mean, I'm right next to the router. This is the new and improved one.
So I took a Chromebook to Argentina, and I had a cable, and I plug it to the router, and then there is no plug in the Chromebook.
Right.
Right. And for some reason, it would not link to the Wi-Fi in that apartment. So what the heck? Oh, so I went to the bank and used a computer in the bank.
I built half my website using a personal hotspot off my phone because it couldn't get. It had SSL objections to the site that you can check on it, and it's fine, but I couldn't solve the problem. So.
It's all Hashem's plan.
Yeah. He's got quite a plan there.
Is this any better?
Keep talking, we'll see.
Okay.
So far, yes.
Far, so good.
Easy. Figure out how to share the screen.
It's the first time in a long time we got everybody here too.
Yeah. Okay. We had trouble with this sound last week. Okay, so till now, the main idea is that we've had two classes on Terumah. They're all on chapter 1. It's said that Terumah means donation, and donation, tzedakah is connected with the number 100. Yitzchak planted. And Hashem blessed it, and it made the field yielded 100 times what it was estimated to be, and this teaches us that blessings come for 100. If you have 100, you give 10 to the Levi. Levi gives 1 to the coin. And that elevates the 10 that went to the Levi, and it elevates the 100 that grew originally.
Still not good.
Still not good.
Still not good.
All of a sudden, you're sounding not well again.
You know what I suggest?
Mute?
Next week, nope. Let me try muting. I did that last week. I even got off and tried again. But remind me next week, bring the mic. I have a mic at Yeshiva. Remember I used to use it?
Yes.
I remember that.
I'm going to try that for next week.
Okay.
And that might be the mic and the way the mic works in this computer.
Amen.
You got a new computer, don't you?
What?
You have a new computer, don't you?
Well, depends on your definition of new.
New compared to the other one you had.
2 years old.
Yeah.
So we also talked about. Thanks for letting me know. I got to know if the sound's not working. And I don't think I have a problem with any other class that I do, and I do a lot on Zoom. So you know what it must be? Maybe recording on YouTube. Okay, I don't know. So we said that the Terumah donation is the feminine component, and is connected with the letter Hey of Hashem's name. Are two Heys. Hey times 10 is 50, 50 and 50 is 100. That is a few things we've said. Now we're going to go on to 25. When I'm going to speak a little slower, hopefully that'll be good. Help. When three men eat together, they say Birkat HaMazon with a mizumin. Mizumin is when we say Rabbi Sar Mevalim Benchin or Rabbotai Nevarech, and everyone answers Yehi Shem Hashem Mevarach Me'atavadol. If only two men eat, there's no requirement for a mizumin. Women are not required to say Birkat HaMazon with a mizumin. So the Gemara says 100 women are like two men. They are not required to do the Birkat HaMazon, to say Birkat HaMazon with a mizumin. Arizal explains this phrase according to Kabbalah. Two men, the male components, Chachma and Zerampin. 100 women are the two letters Hey, corresponding to Bina and Malchus. Each has a gematria of 5. With 10 subspheros, each equals 50. Together, they make 100. I don't think he explains why then two men are equal, are like 100 women, unless it's saying the partsuf as a whole. When we say partsuf, generally we refer to Chachma, Bina, Zeranpin, and Nukva. I'm sorry, Abba, Ima, Zeranpin, Nukva. Partsuf I translate as profile. It's like the whole family or the whole persona. And they basically, Abba is Chachma, Ima is Bina, Zerampin are the 6 spheros from Chesed to Yesod, and then Nukva is Malchus. So this is what this means here. It goes into a lengthier explanation on 1280. Alan, we are ready. This motion on 1280.
This notion is alluded to in the sage's statement. 100 women are equivalent to 2 men. The 2 men allegorically referred to in this statement are Abba and Zeranpin. They are the equivalent of 100 women. For with regard to the 2 female partsufim, both of them comprise 10 subsephiros, and both of them are represented by the letter Hey. They are thus the equivalent of 2 nuns, whose combined numerical value is 100. In contrast, each male partsuf is only 1. The statement 100 women are equivalent to 2 men refers to the obligation to recite a formal invitation, zimun, to recite Birkas HaMazon when 3 or more people have eaten together. If 3 men are present at the meal, the formal invitation is obligatory. If 3 or more women have eaten together, they may recite the formal invitation if they wish to, but doing so is not obligatory. Thus, no matter how many women have eaten together, even 100 or more, it is the same with regard to the obligation to recite the formal invitation, as if only 2 men have eaten together. There is no halachic obligation to recite the formal invitation. In this context, we are now considering only the 2 main female partsufim, Ima and Nukva, which correspond to the first and second Heys of the name Havaya. Savuna is, in this context, subsumed within Ima, since they are both manifestations of the letter He, whose numerical value is 5, they can be considered to consist of a 5 by 10 sub-sephirot, that is 50 sub-sephirot. 50 is the numerical value of the letter Nun. The number 50 is also associated with the feminine principle as the number of gates of Bina, as we have seen previously. Together they comprise 100 sub-sephirot. Although the male partsufim are also composed of sub-sephiros, in this context they are considered only in their undifferentiated state. This is presumably because the male principles, being more abstract in nature, tend to manifest a unity of perspective or consciousness, in contrast to the female principles, which, being more concrete in nature, tend to manifest detailed perspective or consciousness, focusing on the particulars of how divinity can and should be manifest throughout creation.
Okay. Expanded name of Hashem equals 45, corresponds to Zeir Anpin and the letter Vav of Hashem's name. So the 4 expanded spellings are 72, 63, 45, and 52. 45 is in the 3rd place, 52 is in the 4th place. The 3rd letter of Hashem's name, the letter Vav. So the name that expands to 45 corresponds to the letter Vav. Expanded name of Hashem that equals 63, the 2nd one, corresponds to Bina, and the 1st letter A of Hashem's name. Name of 45 is expanded Bas. Yud, Hey spelled Hey Aleph, and Vav spelled Vav Aleph Vav, and then Hey Aleph. There are 3 Alephs and 1 Yud, whose gematria equals 13. I don't know why we're only counting the Alephs and the Yud, whatever. Whose gematria equals 13, value of the word Chad 1. Again, so the 60 name of Hashem that equals 63 is the name of Hashem that is 35 has 3 Alephs and 1 Yud, which have a gematria of 13, 10, 1, 1, and 1. 13 is the value of the word Chad. And we said in number 25, right here, that male principle is represented by the number 1. We said there were 2 men, 100 women. 2 men are the 2 male principles, Vav, Yud, and the Vav of Hashem's name. So now we have the name of 45 connected with number 13, which gematria is Echad, connected with the number 1. Okay, wait, not done. 27. Expanded spelling of the name of 63 is Yud, Hey Yud, of Aleph Vav, which is the same we had before, and again Hey Yud. There are 3 Yuds and 1 Aleph, for a total of 31. Value of Hashem's name, Hail. Hail is 31, Aleph Lamed. Okay, Alan, continue.
This is seen in the fact that the masculine 45 name is spelled out with 1 Yud and 3 Alephs, which add up to 13, which is the numerical value of the word for 1. The feminine principle is embodied in the 63 name, which is spelled out with 3 Yuds and 1 Aleph, which adds up to the word for Hashem. As we have seen previously, the 45 name is associated with the Vav of the name Havaya, that is the male principle, and the 63 name is associated with the first Hey of the name Havaya, that is the feminine principle. The 45 name is spelled Yud Hey Vav Hey, which is 10 plus 6 plus 4 plus 5 plus 1 plus 6 plus 1 plus 6 plus 5 plus 1, which equals 20 plus 6 plus 13 plus 6, which equals 45. In this spelling out, there are 1 yud and 3 aleph. 10 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 13. The word for one, echad, 1 plus 8 plus 4 equals 13. The 63 name is spelled yud hey vav hey, but it's 10 plus 6 plus 4 plus 5 plus 10 plus 6 plus 1 plus 6 plus 5 plus 10, which equals 20 plus 15 plus 3 plus 15, which equals 63. In this spelling out, there are 3 yuds and 1 aleph. 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 1, 31. The word for Hashem, Kel, 1 plus 30 is 31. All this indicates that the male principle is a manifestation of the number 1, while the feminine principle manifests Hashem's creative potential, as will be seen presently.
Now, so according to this, Hashem's name, Aleph Lamed Kel, is feminine principle, the name of 63, which corresponds to Bina. Elsewhere, we said something else about the name Kel. We associated it with the sphere of Chesed, the first of the emotions. But let's stick to the way we have it here. As we've seen, the male principle is associated with the number 1. The name of 45, which is male, has 3 alephs and 1 yud. Gematria 13 is the word for one, chad. Female principle is associated. Female principle is associated with the name Havaya that expands to 63. As this name is expanded, there are 3 yuds and 1 aleph for a gematria of 31, the same as Hashem's name, Kel. This name Kel is in the pasuk, Halo Kel Echad Baranu. Has not one God created us? In this pasuk are the word one, alluding to the male principle, the name Kel, alluding to the female principle, and the word create. Can be understood to mean that Kel, or Bina, is invested in one, or Zeranpin, and from this level of Bria, creation, is produced. Jim, page 1281.
This is alluded to in the verse, has not one God created us. Has not God refers to Ima, as she is invested with their Anpin, one as mentioned above. Through this investiture issued the world of Berea. The verse is to be read in this context. God manifest in one created us, that is Ima, alluded to by the word for God, manifested itself in Zeranpin, alluded to by the word one, in order to create, that is, to bring the world of creation, Bria, into existence.
We know that Abba, Ima, Zeranpin, and Nukva correspond to 4 stages of creation: Atzilus, Bria, Yitzira, and Asiya. Ima, Bina, corresponds to Bria. This is the meaning of the pasuk. The name El stands for Bina, corresponds to Bria, created us.
Mhm. This is the allusion in the word created us. In order to create the world of Bria, Ima must be invested there in Zeranpin, for, as stated in the Zohar, Ima nests in the world of the divine throne. The divine throne is the Zoharic term for the world of Bria.
And throne. The footnote should be 16, Malachi chapter 2, verse 10. Okay, not 1.
Mhm.
The sages said, are you ready? Wrong place. 30. Dvorah, the prophetess, is well known to us. We read her story in the Haftorah of Parshas Beshalach. So I'm not going to get into Dvorah. Huldah was another female prophet. She lived at the time of King Yoshiyahu. He was a great-grandson of the righteous King Chizkiah. Chizkiah's son and grandson, Menashe and Ammon, were wicked kings. That is probably an understatement. They destroyed every Torah they could find. Ammon's son, Yoshia, began his rule at 8 years old. He was very devoted to Hashem. It's even possible he had never seen Torah because so many were destroyed. And if they weren't destroyed, then the owners were afraid. The owners kept them hidden. One day, the Kohen Gadol found a Sefer Torah that was hidden, possibly written by Moshe himself. He brought it to show the king. When they opened the scroll, they immediately read, Hashem will lead you and your king, the nation you never knew. This is near the end of the Torah in the admonishment. This is a bad omen, and the king rent his garments. He went to Huldah, the prophetess, to ask her interpretation. The Gemara gives 2 reasons why they did not go to Yirmiyah. Number 1, Yirmiyah was out of the country. He had gone to bring the lost tribes back to Israel. According to this, he brought back some of them. The second reason is they thought they would get a more compassionate response from a woman. Abigail, taking notes.
Oh,
Huldah told them, indeed, the end would come soon for the Jewish nation, but not in the lifetime of the righteous King Yoshia. She gave a long answer by Torah standards. Yoshia responded by massive initiatives to bring the people back to Torah. Huldah's already at the time of prophet Yirmiyah. Yirmiyah was the prophet who foretold the destruction and lived through it. I wrote number 30 before I did 30, after 31. So 31 has some stuff first. Gemara in Megillah says 2 women said prophecy for Israel, Huldah and Devorah. Huldah was towards the end of the second Beis Hamikdash at the time of Yirmiyah, and Devorah was a century or 2 after Moshe died. There were actually many women prophets. When these 2 prophesied, there were no men prophets. I know there was Yirmiyah, but I don't know, unless he was out of the country. For example, even though Sarah was a prophet, Abraham was a prophet as well. I think there were other prophets at the time of Huldah. It could be her prophecy was given when Yirmiyah was away, bringing the lost tribes back to Israel. Okay, Jim, go ahead, the sages.
The sages said that 2 women prophesied for Israel, Huldah and Devorah, even though there were many prophetesses. The explanation of this is as follows. The prophecies of these other prophetesses were not necessary for all Israel, for in their times there were many men who prophesied for all Israel, such as did Abraham in the time of Sarah. But these two prophesied at a time when there were no others who prophesied for Israel but them. We are taught that of all the myriad instances of prophecy that were manifest in ancient time, only those prophecies which pertain to the entire nation, to all generations, are recorded in the biblical canon. Sarah was superior to Abraham in prophecy. Nevertheless, since more episodes of Abraham's life were pertinent to the development of the Jewish people as a nation, we find more of his life recorded in the Bible than of Sarah's life. Only when Sarah exercised her superior prophetic powers in ways that had a direct impact on the fate of the Jewish people are these episodes recorded. The same holds true for Devorah and Huldah and the other prophetesses of old. The Arizal here is telling us that when men are around who are able to prophesy prophecies that pertain to the entire nation and for posterity, then they can fulfill this role. When such men cannot be found, then the qualified women assume this function.
Okay. 32. In addition, all the other women prophets manifest one. The one thing is, the only reason they're mentioned is because there were other men. There was no men prophets, so went through the women prophet. There is another reason. All other women prophets manifest one of the feminine principles, or malchut. Huldah and Deborah manifest general principles of Bina and Malchus. I really don't understand this distinction, especially with the next thing, number 33. But that's what it says. Go ahead, Jim.
Each of the other prophetesses manifested one attribute of the two feminine principles, which is Bina, Rachel, Malchus. In contrast, the souls of Huldah and Devorah were derived from and manifest the general consciousnesses of the two feminine principles, Bina and Malchus.
Okay.
Specific, okay.
One meaning of Huldah's name is hidden. When a sheichet's knife is covered, slaughtering is said to be chaluda. It's invalidated. This corresponds to Bina, which is hidden. She only prophesied once. Go ahead.
Specifically, Huldah manifested a general consciousness of Bina, as indicated by the fact that the word from which her name was derived, choled, means covered, as in covered the knife, referring to the hidden world. She therefore prophesied on only one occasion. Relative to each other, Bina is termed hidden world, whereas Malchus is termed revealed world. This is because thought, which expresses the intellect Bina, is normally hidden from others, whereas speech reveals our emotion to others. Because of Huldah's innate association with the hidden world of Bina, it was exceptional that her prophetic powers were publicized.
Thank you. And Huldah also means a rodent, if I'm not mistaken, a mole. And there are, if you're in Yerushalayim, next to the Kotel, what's southern wall of the Kotel means if you're standing at the Kotel, all the way to the right, and you turn that corner. If anyone has been there, turn that corner. I guess it's on the other side of the wall from Al-Aqsa Mosque, and in the big stone wall there, you could see are covered up with stones, filled in, but there are two entrances there, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's two entrances. And the entrance to the Temple Mount in the olden days in the Beit HaMikdash would be from the south. The city was to the south. You'd walk uphill from the city, you'd reach the entrances where the southern wall excavation, where the southern wall is today. And those two entrances actually were tunnels. You'd go through them, through the tunnels, and you'd come out inside the Temple Mount on Har Habayis. And if those entrances, I'm thinking this is all together, are called Shar Hulda, gates of Hulda. Some say that is where the prophetess Hulda used to sit there. Others say that since they're underground tunnels, the word Hulda, besides her name, also means a rodent, like a mole. And since they're tunnels, so it's like burrowing like a mole underground, and that would fit with the meaning of choled being hidden. It says moles burrow underground. That's my own little connection. And choled is mentioned as a rodent in the Torah. 34. Oh boy, here we go. Okay, we do go past 35. Word Devorah is from the word dibur, speech. Level of Rachel, Malchus, a level that's revealed. Navi says, Devorah sang, Vatashar. Vatashar means she sang. And then she gives her whole song. I think it's chapter 5 of the book of Toftim. Gematria of the word she sang is 906. Okay? Keep that in the parking lot for a moment. Switch gears. Rabbi Nechunya ben Akana, rabbi of the Mishnah, who's quoted in Pirkei Avot, was primarily a teacher of Kabbalah. He is quoted a few times in the Mishnah. Several books of Kabbalah that are available today are attributed to him, including Sefer HaBahir, maybe the most popular of them. Sefer HaBahir, Sefer HaKana, I think there's Sefer HaTerumah, and they're available today. He wrote a prayer we are all familiar with. Ana, Choach, Plus, Yemincha, Tatar, Terumah. This prayer has 42 words. I guess Baruch Shem is not part of the prayer, it's at the end. This prayer has 42 words, 7 lines, with 6 words each. Initials of the 40 words form what is known as the name of Hashem of 42. Phrases of this prayer are awkward or poetic. They are not standard prose. The 7th line is Shavasenu, Kapel, Ushma, Ta'akosenu, Yodea, Alumos. When I mean that they're awkward, because it doesn't say Kabel Shavasenu, accept our cries. It says Shavasenu, Kabel, our cries, accept. Ushma Ta'akosenu, and hear our shouts. Yodea Talumos, O knower of private things. Look for a few ways how to translate that. I didn't find anything that I really liked. Of the last word. The gematria of the initials Shin Kufav Tadik Yud is 906, same as Devorah saying Vatashar. Since this is the 7th line, corresponds to Malchus, the same as Devorah. Okay, that's a real stretch, incredible stretch. Rudy, you have a question?
Question. I've been meaning to ask you this. The second line of Anavakoach is indented. Why?
Indented? I'm going to guess that in English, we indent the first line. In Hebrew, if you look through the Siddur, you'll find that usually the second line is indented across the board. I don't know if it's in the annotated edition, but in the
Every sitter that I've seen has the second line indented. And I've been thinking that because one of the acronyms spells out something.
that's the second line. But if you show me which Siddur you're looking at, we'll compare it to other paragraphs in the Siddur, and chances are that many of the other ones have second line indented across the board. What do you call that? A terrarium? Arboretum.
Arboretum.
Rudy is visiting the Arboretum today.
It's good. He's in the tree land.
Gershon, do you want to continue? 1282 at the bottom, Devorah. We'll hear Rudy when he's
Not here. Deborah was derived from
There he
the
is.
general. No, well,
I saw his figure like the Cheshire Cat, appears and disappears.
should I go? All right. Deborah was derived from the general consciousness of Rachel. She was therefore named Deborah, which is related to the word for speech, which is a manifestation of the revealed word. Thus, it is written, and Deborah sang. The numerical value of and she sang is the same as of the phrase, accept our supplication and hear our cry, you who knows secret thoughts, for this was her level. The name Deborah in Hebrew, Deborah, is related to the word for speech, daber, or something like that. The word for and she sang, the tashir, okay, 6 plus 400 plus 300 plus 200, 906. The Hebrew for the phrase cited is, the numerical value of the initials of this phrase is 906. The phrase, accept our supplication and hear our cry, you who knows secret thoughts, is the seventh and last line of the poem whose initials spell the 42 name. This poem is known as the Prayer of Rabbi Nehunia ben Hakane, or by its first two words in Hebrew, Ana Bakoach. The seventh line corresponds to the seventh Midah, that means Malchus. The Arizal now returns to the discussion of the three donations alluded to in the opening of Parshat Terumah.
Okay, Rudy, what do you see?
The second line,
Yes.
It's indented.
Okay, how about the paragraph below that? Looks indented to me. How about the paragraph above that?
that's one sitter, so that's Kilos Hashem.
So every paragraph has the second line indented.
No.
Okay, show us when you see a different one. Page 8, 35. As we said before, the word Terumah is written 3 times at the beginning of the parsha. One is for the donation of 15 materials needed for the Mishkan. Second is a half shekel from each person, the communal offering. The third is for the half shekel from each person, the silver sockets at the base of the wall of the Mishkan. Okay, go ahead, Gershon.
First donation was for the materials used to build the tabernacle. The next donation was used to purchase the daily communal offerings, and the third donation was for the sockets at the base of the planks that form the walls of the tabernacle. As we noted above, the word donation, terumah, occurs 3 times in close proximity at the beginning of this parsha. According to the sages, this alludes to 3 separate donations that the Jews were required to give. The first was an unspecified amount. Anyone could give as much as they wanted of any of the materials that were required to reconstruct the tabernacle. The second was the annual levy for half shekel per adult male. This money was used to purchase the animals that were used for the daily communal offerings. The third was one-time levy, also of 1/2 shekel per adult male. This silver was used to make the silver sockets into which the wooden planks that formed the tabernacle walls. Sockets were thus the only component of the tabernacle toward which every adult male was required to contribute.
Okay. A few parshas later, regarding the half shekel, it is called Ofer Nefesh, an atonement for the soul. This is for the communal offerings that bring atonement to the people. Go ahead, Christian.
With reference to the daily communal sacrifices which atone for sin, it is written that they are a ransom for the soul. The half shekel tax for the daily communal sacrifices is only alluded in the Parsha Terumah. It is legislated explicitly in the beginning of Parsha Tisa. There, the commandment is phrased as follows: each man must give Hashem a ransom for his soul.
Okay, 37. It also says a donation for Hashem to atone for your souls. This is the half shekel that went for the silver sockets. This atoned the sin of the golden calf. Abigail, would you like to continue 1283 donation?
The donation used for the sockets atones for the sin of the golden calf. With reference to this donation, it is written, a donation to God to atone for your souls. Immediately after the commandment to take the annual half shekel tax, the Torah tacks on the verse that explicitly mentions the one-time half shekel levy for the sockets of the tabernacle. This describes these sockets as a remembrance before God to atone for your souls. With reference to the donation
Regarding the donation for the communal offerings, Torah explains that 1 shekel is 20 era. The letter Yud is 10. Yud expanded is Yud Vav Daled. 10 plus 6 plus 4 is 20. X says that this is represented by the letter Hey of Hashem's name. It's possible that it's supposed to say letter Yud of Hashem's name. So the letter Yud says it is half shekel, and if it's expanded, then it's Yud Vav Daled, it's 20, and that is 2 half shekels or 20 gera. It's represented by the number 20 gera. Okay, go ahead with reference.
With reference to the donation used for the daily communal offerings, it says 20 gera. This is Yud spelled out. Half a shekel is a simple Yud. This is the allusion in the Hey of the name Havaya. The Torah defines the shekel as being 20 gera of silver. 20 is the numerical value of the letter Yud when spelled out. Daled Vav Yud equals 10 plus 6 plus 4 plus 20 equals 20. Thus, half a shekel means half of a spelled out Yud, i.e. the spelled out Yud minus the letters used to spell it out, or just a plain Yud. The text here reads, this is the allusion to the Hey of the name Havaya, but perhaps the apostrophe after the letter Hey should be the letter Yud, or perhaps the name Havaya as a whole is meant.
Okay. So basically, that's not clear what that means.
Yeah, it made
Finally,
more
the
sense.
half shekel. What?
It made more sense when you read it to us.
Well, that's what I thought he was saying, but he doesn't exactly say that. It says that there's Hey apostrophe. Apostrophe maybe was originally a Yud. Hey Yud. Remember, everything was handwritten.
Yeah.
But that would still be Hey. It should be Yud. Okay. Half shekel donation for the sockets is connected with Hashem's name, Adoni. What we say, Ado, and then Noi.
Yep.
The Hebrew word for sockets is Aden. Same letters as Hashem's name, Adni. The name Adni equals 65. If you expand the spelling of Adni, you get Aleph Lamed Hey, Dalet Lamed Taf, Nun Vav Nun, and Yud Vav Daled. If you expand those letters, what we call tertiary spelling, are 34 letters. And so 65, the gematria of Adni, and 34, the number of letters for tertiary spelling, equals 99, and with the kol, it's 100. Half shekels went to make 100 silver sockets. As you said at the beginning, blessings, donations are associated with the number 100.
Okay.
Okay, take it away.
With reference to the donation used for the sockets, it says that it corresponds to the name Adni, which is related to the word for sockets. As you know, the numerical value of the name Adni spelled simply puts its numerical value spelled out plus the numerical value of the spelling of its spelling out adds up to 100 sockets. Hope I said that right. Thus far, I found written. Hebrew word for sockets is, and there's the word.
Adonim.
I don't know.
Adim.
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 Adnim.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Which is the name Adni, with a mem affixed at the end. So whereas I see the mem there, makes sense. So whereas the half shekel tax for the communal sacrifices is associated with the name Havaya, the half shekel tax for the sockets is associated with the name Adni. The numerical value of the name Adni, spell Aleph.
65.
I can't even read. Aleph Dalet Nun Yud equals 1 plus 4 plus 50 plus 10 equals 65. This name spelled out is Yud Vav Dalid Nun
Gotta go
Vav
right to left.
Nun.
Aleph Dalet Nun.
Aleph Daled Nun Yud.
Good.
Abigail, you need to read it right to left.
Aleph Daled Nun Yud.
Aleph Lamed.
Dalet.
Aleph Dalet Nun.
Nun Yud.
Read the word on the right first.
So that's Aleph Lamed.
Aleph Dalet.
Yeah, the next line, the next line.
Oh,
Aleph
okay.
Daled Nun Yud.
That's why I'm doing it wrong. All right. So
There are 4 of them there.
yeah, there are 34. I'm stinking out. There are 34 letters used in this double iteration.
Okay.
65 plus 34 is 99. Together with the kolel, this gives 100. There were 100 sockets in the tabernacle. Presumably, the Arizal went on to describe how the third donation, which was not fixed at any specific amount or specific material, corresponds to another name of God, but Rabbi Chaim Vital did not find the rest of this explanation.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Sorry for what?
No.
That's right.
I'm still recovering. I
Thank you.
basically slept 2 to 4 hours for all of November and December. So I can't do that ever again. Well, I slept on Shabbat a lot, but
So the two contributions that they're discussing all have a relationship to to a name of Hashem,
Mhm.
and the third one we don't get into.
Yeah.
We continue.
Well, I think there was more clear explanation for this one than last week or 2 weeks
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
That is my feeling. So when you start working with numbers and stuff,